Trump has said that we can't expect a COVID-19 vaccine before the end of the year or, quote, sometime during the month of October. But Vice Presidential candidate Kamala Harris not so sure when it comes to trusting what President Trump says. Harris says for her to take the vaccine, the information about its safety will have to come from credible sources.
I will not take his word for it. He wants us to inject bleach. No, I will not take his word.
Harris also suggested public health officials were likely to face pushback, potentially at the expense of their jobs, from the White House if they had reservations over a vaccine or the standard for releasing it.
And Harris isn't the only one concerned that a vaccine could be rushed. According to a new CBS News poll, only 21% of registered voters say they would get a vaccine as soon as it is possible. This is down from 32% who said the same thing in late July. Most people, 58%, say they would consider it and wait to see what happens, while just more than 20% say they will never get one. Now, we'd like to hear from you on this as well. Just head to CBS17.com, our news app. You can answer the question.
It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. It hasn't changed. It's the same. They're still pushing Mr. T's V. They're still pushing Mr. T's V. It's the same. It hasn't changed. They said Biden and Harris said that they wouldn't take it because they don't trust Mr. T's V. But it's the same. It hasn't changed. Ay, ay, ay.
It's about to go down. New York declares state of emergency. When I tell you these mofos ain't playing, I mean that shit. Come Monday, thousands of people who are in healthcare are going to be out of a job. They are going to be terminated from their positions. And they are making preparations as far as clearing the way for healthcare workers who are not even licensed. These are the people that are replacing these heroes, recent graduates, no shade, retirees, and medically trained National Guard troops. You know what's happening here. On Friday, a federal judge temporarily blocked the mandate. These healthcare workers are facing deadlines. They want you to have at least one shot by Monday to keep your job, and they won't be eligible for unemployment. Dark winter indeed.
Biden, your reaction, and just 40% of Americans say they would definitely agree to take a coronavirus vaccine if it was approved by the government. What steps would you take to give Americans confidence in a vaccine if it were approved?
Make sure it's totally transparent. Have the scientists of the world see it, know it, look at it, go through all the processes. And by the way, this is the same fellow who told you this is going to end by Easter last time. This is the same fellow who told you that, don't worry, we're going to end this by the summer. We're about to go into a dark winter. And he has no clear plan, and there's no prospect that there's going to be a vaccine available for the majority of the American people before the middle of next year.
President Trump, your reaction, he says you have no plan.
We're going to have a dark winter at all. We're opening up our country. We've learned and studied and understand the disease, which we didn't at the beginning. When I closed and banned China from coming in heavily infected, and then ultimately Europe, but China was in January. Months later, he was saying I was xenophobic. I did it too soon. Now he's saying, oh, I should have, moved quicker. But he didn't move quicker. He was months behind me, many months behind me. And frankly, he ran the H1N1 swine flu, and it was a total disaster, far less lethal, but it was a total disaster. Had that had this kind of numbers, 700,000 people would be dead right now, but it was a far less lethal disease.